ladies, men, and non-binary friends. Welcome back to my kingdom. I've been a little starved for content recently, so much so that I've been revisiting some of my favorite Disney movies from when I was a child. I was originally going to do a video on ranking Disney princes, but I decided against it because that video was coming out really negative. You know, because there's really only a few Disney princes that aren't incredibly shallow, sexist, or creepy. I thought instead that I could talk about a Disney man that isn't problematic and highlight some of the reasons why I'm so fond of him. If you have any other unproblematic Disney men, please feel free to list them in the comments below. Also, if you have any new shows to watch, please share them with me. I've already blown through most of Umbrella Academy. Thanks! Post-growth Naveen is a 10. I will say it till the day I die, post-growth Naveen is a 10. Of all the Disney princes, he is the best, and by the end of this video, I bet you'll think so too. He starts out as a lazy, pompous, kinda sexist rich boy, but his handsome, chiseled face gets turned into a mucusy frog, and he and Tiana have to find a way to turn themselves back into humans. This, of course, sparks an incredible journey that the two embark on. The first thing I noticed after watching this movie was that Naveen is one of the few Disney princes that actually experiences growth and takes accountability for his actions. And that is what we're here to talk about. But before we get to Naveen, I'll be explaining why some of the more popular princes weren't at the top of my list. Eric is fine, I love a good sailor, but he doesn't really show any growth or any personality traits other than hot guy on boat. I actually really like Flynn Rider, I don't think there's anything wrong with him, I just like Naveen a little bit more. Ah, the Andy Dwyer of Disney princes. Strong, lovable, goofy, well-intentioned. Definitely up there for me. He's also a free thinker and a working man, which we love, but I learned that he doesn't technically count as one of Disney's official princes, so unfortunately he's out of the running. Sorry, love. This is one of the movies I revisited as an adult and heavily questioned. Think about it. If I found out that the person I'd been dating was lying to me about their entire life, lying about where they came from, where they went to work, their name? That is not cute. That is a big red flag. Listen, I think Aladdin is adorable, and he was my #1 Disney crush for years, but he was lying to Jasmine since day one because he thought she was hot and he wanted to be Sultan. Gold digger. Hopefully it's obvious why the others were not included either. Alright, now let's get down to the actual reason why we're here. This video, of course, is my own opinion, but like any good researcher, I have cited research to back my claims. I talk about growth and development a lot on this channel, but these two devices are the reason why Naveen was responded to so well. Yes, he's an objectively beautiful man and meets the standard Disney hotness, but his value as a character is measured in his depth, not his looks. Let me explain. Remember when I mentioned that Eric didn't really have a personality? He kind of just exists as a walking man, and we don't really know anything about him other than he's a prince. Well, for the Little Mermaid to progress as a story, that's really all that's important. For her to find a human man so she can live out her days with him. Ugh. He doesn't really add anything to the story besides that. But with Naveen, he's bursting with personality. The ladies love him, not just because he's hot and he's a prince, but because he's incredibly charming. He plays the guitar, he sings, he dances, he knows how to make people laugh. We recognize that, as charming as he is, Naveen is kind of a skis, and we don't really feel like we can morally back him at the beginning of the story. But as an audience, we are interested in seeing what happens to him because he's an interesting character. Naveen understands how to charm people, and his abilities help he and Tiana find Mama Odie. Naveen and Tiana both work to further their own journeys, but they wouldn't be able to succeed without each other. Naveen starts out as an incredibly self-serving character. He keeps up this Casanova persona for a significant part of the movie before we start to see it chip away. The beginning of his growth is sparked by his unwanted involvement in Tiana's cooking. She decides to make a swamp gumbo for their ragtag team and enlists his help. Whether he likes it or not, he's helping. She tasks him with mincing a wild mushroom. We see him breaking a sweat over this, and it is comically very stressful for him. He tries his best before Tiana steps in to teach him. This is followed by Naveen's vulnerable confession that being raised as royalty and being pampered his entire life has kept him from doing anything himself. He doesn't know how to do anything. It's a little pathetic, and it humbles his cocky, princely persona. The first thing he ever learns is something that Tiana teaches him, and it's learning how to mince vegetables. This is, of course, incredibly endearing. We can see he's trying, and Tiana is clearly proud of him. This is also the first step Naveen takes to becoming more independent, and learning how to live his life without the constant attention and luxuries that being royalty provides. In the very next scene, we see Naveen teach Tiana how to dance. Something that she's admittedly self-conscious about. Naveen is kind and gentle, leading her along slowly as to not overwhelm her. They share a tender moment on the lily pads and have a deeper appreciation of each other because of this night together. It's romantic as hell, but also genuinely sweet. This is the first time Naveen is nervous around a woman. When he prepares to profess his love to Tiana and propose to her, This is the first time we see him stumble over his words. It's his first attempt at a genuine connection, and like any love-stricken protagonist, he goofily flubs it up. Naveen confesses to Ray that he's willing to get multiple jobs to help Tiana realize her dream of having her own restaurant. He's willing to give up his rich, cushy life for Tiana's happiness. He's willing to give up everything that he's previously valued for her. Let's compare that to Act 1 Naveen. Totally different character, right? Not only is he not an asshole anymore, but he took it a step further and became such a selfless, kind boyfriend. And then after that, when he finds out that Tiana needs the money for her restaurant immediately, and she can't wait for him to slowly accrue money from the multiple jobs he's planning to get, he's willing to give up his own happiness to marry Lottie just so he can give Tiana the restaurant. He loves her so much and cares so much for her happiness that he's willing to be in a loveless marriage for her. Once Tiana and Naveen wake up and tell each other how they feel, that's when they get what they truly need. This is arguably the healthiest prince-princess relationship because Tiana and Naveen make each other better. Hold on, sorry, there's a siren. Oh my god. This is arguably the healthiest prince-princess relationship in Disney because Tiana and Naveen make each other better. At the beginning of the movie, we see Tiana overworking herself. She's getting burned out, but what's keeping her going is the dream she and her father hope to bring to life. That one day, she'll work hard enough to have her own restaurant. She's always tired, she can't see her friends, and doesn't have any real relationships with anyone except her mother and the LaBeoufs. Tiana has goals, determination, and discipline, which is incredibly admirable, and we should all strive to be like that. But her inability to take time for herself and value her own physical and mental health is worrisome. I know a lot of people that are like this. Naveen, on the other hand, starts, as we described, a lazy, pompous, kind of sexist rich boy who doesn't really have any goals or ambitions other than live the high life. Don't we all want that, my friend? Naveen also struggles to build relationships because he's such a transient person, constantly looking for the next adventure. He's never wanted to settle down and actually build anything himself, like goals, relationships, or any sort of stability in his life. Tiana shows him how much better life is when it's spent with people you care about. Naveen reprioritizes his life and adjusts it so there's room for someone other than himself. Tiana gives Naveen a purpose, goal, and ambition to make her believe that he's worthy of her affection, to bring a smile to her face, to make her feel loved and accepted and happy. Naveen teaches Tiana that it's okay to take time for yourself and ask the people who love you for help. Doing everything on your own is unsustainable, and that's a lesson for all of you. If you're struggling, don't feel like you're inconveniencing someone by asking for their help. There are plenty of people who love and care about you enough to take time out of their day to make sure you're doing okay. Naveen supports Tiana and helps her bring her dream to life. He quite literally rolls up his sleeves and makes this happen for her. There's a place for him in her dream, of course, and she states herself that she doesn't want to live her dream if he's not in it. But this is her vision, and he's just happy to be a part of it. He's happy because she's happy. I also want to point out that unlike other Disney princesses, Tiana and Naveen don't shack up out of convenience. Naveen is not saving Tiana from anything. In fact, they aren't turned back into humans until they're married as frogs. They loved each other so much that they spent their days living in the swamp as a frog couple. Then they get married and the spell is broken. Gosh dang it, this movie is so freaking cute. The role of supportive boyfriend has become increasingly important. Historically, women in heterosexual relationships have been expected to put their own dreams and adventures on hold for the sake of their husbands' careers and to uphold the family. Hopefully, The Princess and the Frog can be the blueprint for a new generation of Disney kids that can imagine a world where women's options in life aren't defaulted to a homemaker. Tiana and Naveen represent a new, idealized relationship that credits women for being ambitious and disciplined in pursuit of their dreams that lie beyond finding a man. Sure, a man was found along the way, but becoming a wife was never Tiana's goal in the story. Naveen's role is as her partner, her supporter, and her friend, not her protector or provider. I just love the way this relationship is portrayed because it's so much more realistic compared to other Disney relationships, and arguably more sustainable. I definitely have a habit of looking too far into movies and being like, are you seeing this? Do you know how important this is? But hey, this channel wouldn't exist if I didn't feel like that, so there's a silver lining to everything, I guess. That's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed yourself. I'm really glad I finally took time to talk about this movie. It's one of my favorites, and the music has been stuck in my head for weeks. Like I said, I'd love to see your favorite unproblematic Disney men listed in the comments down below. Some of my favorites are Robin Hood, Stitch, and Merlin, but I'm sure there's many more that I'm forgetting. Thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourselves. Bye!